How's it going, everyone? Evan and Jordan here from BattleHawk Armory, and we are out at the range with another new firearm for 2025, which today is a shotgun. So, Jordan, what do we have today?
So this is the Military Armament Corporation Mac 2 Agency Tradesman. Well, it's a mouthful. It is essentially a Benelli M2 clone. So it uses the same operating system and a lot of the same features as a Benelli M2, with the addition of some Agency Arms goodies on it.
Yeah, so what we have here, Mac, so Turkish produced shotgun. It is a Benelli M2 clone, so it's an inertially operated shotgun. Again, like Jordan said, we've got a ton of different enhancements, if you will, a bunch of agency parts on here that would usually come at a really high dollar, but you're getting them for a pretty reasonable price on this Mac shotgun. So trigger guard has been relieved for a little bit better loading. We have an agency cartridge lifter here, so it's a full-length lifter, so no Benelli thumb here. Agency oversized bolt release, agency arms bolt and charging handle. Moving forward, we have an Agency Arms aluminum M-LOK handguard up front, and then the barrel itself. So this is a 21-inch barrel that actually has a bunch of porting up here, so it should be a little bit softer shooting. This one in particular, we have outfitted with one of the Mac extended magazine tubes. So this does not come standard. The standard magazine tube is about flush with the 21-inch barrel on here, but we put a bigger tube on here so we can have a little bit more fun today. A couple other things that you would get in the box with this shotgun. You do get some additional choke tubes with it, a total of 3, and a nylon sling here. So a little bit of spoiler alert, this is not our first trip out to the range with this shotgun. So you will see some B-roll footage. When we first had this shotgun out, we had a bunch of reliability issues. Tearing the shotgun apart seemed like what the issue was an issue with the inertia spring. So out here for take 2, what we've done is we've actually contacted Mac. We've sent this shotgun back. What I always like to tell people is it doesn't really matter if you're Ford or Ferrari. Mistakes happen, lemons are going to get out of the gate. It's all about how a company responds to those issues and gets you taken care of. Mac, to their credit, was really responsive, took the shotgun back in, went over it. Seems that they have resolved some of the issues, but we'll find out here shortly. So at least from the customer service aspect, it was a pretty favorable experience. From our first range trip out, we did run a bunch of different types of ammo. It seemed that the Federal Top Gun worked the best, even when the shotgun wasn't working great. So what we've got today is 100 rounds of Federal Top Gun, 1 1/8 ounce, 1145 foot per second. So this is what would be called a 2 3/4 dram loading. So we've got 100 rounds of that. A few of the Federal LE low recoil slugs. So all Federal ammo today. We'll go ahead, we'll get this thing loaded up, we'll run it through its paces and see how it does.
Let's do it.
We're going to start off the day. We've got some Federal law enforcement low recoil slugs. We've got a target down range at about 30 yards. Just going to see what kind of group this prints, just with iron sights at about 30 yards with slugs here. So our aim point was up here at the black. Not super surprising that just with iron sights, all we have is a fiber optic front sight, no rear sight. We're not perfectly zeroed. That can be adjusted through the actual fit of the stock. This Mac 2 does come with some shims, so being a left-handed shooter, I would need to shim this stock to get slugs to hit point of aim, point of impact. Or we could just throw a dot on here because this receiver is drilled and tapped for a Picatinny rail or a red dot already. But our 3 rounds at about 30 yards are right there. It's a pretty good grouping. We've got 2 in about the same hole and 1 just a little bit lower. So off to a pretty good start.
All right, so we got it loaded up, and what we found was the tube actually holds 9. We've got 1 ghost loaded and 1 in the chamber for a full loadout of 11. So it looks like we might have failed to extract one, or I dumped a live shell. But other than that, it ran pretty great. Actually, the recoil was very light. It felt pretty nice. See how Evan likes it.
All right, first 3 rounds, good start. All right, so there is my first stoppage of the day. Just a little bit of a failure to feed. I think if I just send it home, be good. And that one fed just fine. I thought I was empty. And there we go. So 11 rounds, just one stoppage, probably about the same time as Jordan.
Got all 6 off that time. Flawless. Actually, recoil is pretty soft. That might be to the ammo. And also that comp, you can see it working. It's got some carbon buildup on it. Shoots pretty good.
All right, and shotgun's running pretty good now. Jordan and I both ran full magazine tubes +1 with no issues whatsoever of the Federal Top Gun. Shooting pretty soft for an inertia gun. Still has more recoil than what some of your gas-operated guns would, but for the price and for an inertia gun, pretty good performance so far. All right, so a feature that I really appreciate about this Mac 2, I did notice when I was shooting it and loading it, it actually has an articulated shell carrier, which is not standard on, an articulated shell latch, which is not a standard feature on all Benelli M2s. Some of the newer ones are starting to come with it, some of the Benelli Ethoses, but that makes it much easier to load. In tandem with this Agency Arms enlarged bolt release, you can actually unload this shotgun really easy when you're done firing it. So the trick here, I'm going to rack the round out of the chamber. I'm going to let the lifter elevate right there. And then I'm just going to grab a hold of the front of this Agency Arms bolt release and pull outwards on it. And there you have a clear shotgun. All right, so we have just got done shooting over 100 rounds through this Mac 2. Jordan, how'd you think it went?
I actually had a ton of fun. I realized even more that I love shooting shotgun. Shooting shotgun's a lot of fun. It's made nicer with the little bit of accessories and upgrades that Agency has done to this. Definitely make it a little more fun. The ported barrel is very, very light recoiling. Makes it shoot a little softer, and I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah, I love shooting shotguns. I do it quite a bit. They're a ton of fun. They're also super practical, even still today. The availability of different types of loads that you can actually put through them, birdshot, buckshot, slugs, you can do tons of different things with shotgun, whether it's hunting, hobbying, or, you know, a defensive situation of some variety. And bringing us to this actual Mac 2, to your point, Jordan, it was a very fun to shoot shotgun. The ported barrel definitely does help. Again, as I kind of pointed out on the video, I really appreciated the articulated shell catch. That's something that I always look for in a shotgun. Makes it much easier to load in tandem with the elongated shell lifter, so you don't get any sort of pinching as you're actually loading it. Another feature that I noticed on this Mac 2 is that the stock actually has QD sling inserts. So whether you're looking at one of these shotguns for a competition purpose, it's already set up and ready to take a sling. If you're looking at this shotgun for something like home defense, it's already set up ready for lights or other accessories up front with this M-LOK handguard, in addition to the sling as well. So tons of different features, all at a really affordable price. Worked pretty darn good. A big thing with it actually working, now that we're out here for our second trip to the range, shotguns and most firearms in general are very ammo sensitive. One thing that I've always found, these inertia operated shotguns tend to work better with shells that have a higher charge weight, as in they have more pellets in them but lower velocity. My gas operated shotguns tend to like things like this Fiocchi here that are like 1 ounce shells that are 1200, 1250, whereas this inertia gun actually really worked well with the Federal Top Guns. We only had like 2 stoppages with the Federal Top Guns, so ammo selection will be very important for this Mac 2 and a lot of other firearms. So as long as you're running the Federal Top Gun 2 3/4 dram, 1 1/8 ounce, 1145, things seem to work pretty well. In fact, we were running a little bit short on shells, so that last stoppage that you actually had, Jordan, when it didn't feed all the way, when you racked the round out, I noticed that it was actually this exact Fiocchi shell. So it seemed like it had a little bit of issues as we got into the Fiocchi to try to complete some of these drills. But aside from that, as long as, again, we were using appropriate ammo that the shotgun actually tolerated, things seemed to work pretty well.
Yeah, just to elaborate on the little bit, that's not a quirk specifically with the Mac, but inertia guns.
Absolutely.
That like a specific type of ammo. But initially we did have some problems, like Evan mentioned, and Mac got this thing turned around in about a week and back to us. And clearly they seem to have done a pretty good job getting it back, getting it running. With a little bit of better ammo, we had a lot of fun out here today, and it was great to shoot.
Yeah, in fact, I think, you know, as we were kind of wrapping up our actual shooting for the day, you were making some comments about how much you really actually enjoyed shooting this and how you're looking forward to shooting it some more. So definitely a very viable option in the market here. Definitely a lot of fun to shoot, and I know that you'll have a lot of fun with it here in the coming weeks. So,
as the competition shooter you are, you tend to drag us out to all these things. And one thing I've been missing for a proper 3-gun, is a 12-gauge shotgun to compete with. I've always bummed pump action off you or something. So now I have something I can grab and go run some 3-gun with you.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Able to put an optic on it, easy to load, works pretty darn well, so it should be a lot of fun for us. We had a lot of fun out here today shooting this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments down below, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.
Thanks for watching.